The State Weather Bureau says Typhoon Tino further intensified over the West Philippine Sea on Wednesday, November 5. In its 5 p.m. bulletin, Pag-asa estimates Tino's location some 330 kilometers east-northeast of Pag-asa Island in Palawan. Tino packs maximum sustained winds of 140 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 170 kilometers per hour. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 2 is raised over Cagayan Islands, where gale force winds may bring minor to moderate impacts. Meanwhile, signal number 1 is up over Occidental Mindoro, including Lubang Islands, and the rest of Palawan, including Calamian and Cuyo Islands. Areas under signal number 1 may expect minimal to minor threat to life and property due to strong winds. According to Pag-asa, Tino will continue moving west-northwestward over the West Philippine Sea. The typhoon is expected to exit the Philippine area of responsibility Wednesday night or Thursday early morning, November 6. Malacanang wants an investigation into at least 300 flood control projects in Cebu from 2016 to 2022 following severe flooding from Typhoon Tino's onslaught. The typhoon lashed Cebu on Tuesday, November 4, submerging huge parts of the province following intense rains. Cebu Governor Pam Baricuatro posted on social media highlights the government's billion peso flood control budget for the province. In a briefing on Wednesday, November 5, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says President Bongbong Marcos also wants to investigate this issue.
May mga budget na inilaan para dito pero parang hindi gumagana. Kaya mas maganda po na kung siya man po ay nagagalit, yan din po ang nararamdaman ng Pangulong Marcos Jr. So dapat din po itong makita dahil kung meron pong 343 flood control projects noon pa man, dapat po sana ay gumagana ito. So pagtulong-tulungan po natin mahanap ang dapat na papanagot sa mga maanumalyang flood control projects.
The palace official also encourages the governor to provide any facts or data she has regarding these projects to help the government with its probe. Meanwhile, Castro says politics has no interference in the Marcos administration's aid for Cebu, even though Marcos and Baricuatro did not run under the same party.
Kahit naman po hindi kaalyado ng Pangulo, kahit anong kulay po niyan, ay Pangulo po ay handang tumulong kahit po kanino. Noong nakaraan lamang po, napabalita rin po na pumunta ang Pangulo sa Cebu at siya naman po ay sinalubong ni Governor at nagpasalamat pa po si Governor ng Cebu dahil sa maagarang tulong na binigay ng Pangulo sa nasabing syudad o lungsod.
The lawyer of former Bicol Party List Representative Zaldy Co says his client is hesitant to return to the Philippines due to security concerns. In a press conference on Wednesday, November 5, Attorney Rui Rondain says Co wants to respond to issues personally but could not do so because of credible and serious threats to his life. The lawyer also addresses questions about Co's whereabouts, initially saying he does not know where the former lawmaker is.
Representative Co would have wanted to be here himself so he can answer your questions. Unfortunately, there are credible and serious threats to his life na he's really afraid to come out at this time. He has a general fear of being shot, whether by a vigilante or by a political enemy. He doesn't know. Let me jump the gun because I know someone will ask this inevitably. I do not know where he is. I do not know where he is because I never asked him where he is. It's not relevant for his defense.
Later during the same press conference, Rondain discloses that he last heard Co was in Boston for medical reasons sometime between September and October. Meanwhile, the lawyer also argues that Co had already accumulated wealth even before joining Congress. He says Co reported a net worth of 4.1 billion pesos in 2019. When asked about the latest figure, the lawyer recalls it to be roughly at 5 billion pesos.
Remember that he was a businessman before he was in Congress. And kung tumaas man yan, nakareport yan sa SAL and I'm sure nakareport sa tax returns niya because of the business, not because of Congress.
However, the lawyer does not show copies of Co's 2019 and 2025 Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth during the presser, but he says he can provide a copy of Co's 2019 SALN. Co has been under scrutiny after his name was linked to alleged irregularities in the 289.5 million peso flood control project in Nauhan, Oriental, Mindoro. Co has denied the allegation of receiving kickbacks but has not returned to the Philippines. Senate President Tito Sotto is confident of keeping his leadership even with the return of Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson as Blue Ribbon Panel Chair. In an ambush interview on Wednesday, November 5, Sotto was asked if he is concerned that Lacson's return might cause unrest among the senators. In response, Sotto says he doesn't believe so.
Hindi siguro because alam naman ng mga kasamahan namin na siya rin ang gusto nila eh. And if ever there is, no problem with that. I always serve at the pleasure of my peers. Baka mas madali pa nga yung senador ka lang kaysa ikaw ay opisyal eh.
Meanwhile, Sotto says he's eyeing to meet with former House Speaker Martin Romualdez and possibly invite him to the next flood control hearing. Lacson resigned as Blue Ribbon Committee Chair in October. In his resignation letter, he said his colleagues expressed disappointment regarding his handling of the inquiry into flood control projects. Some sectors viewed Lacson's departure from the panel as a sign of an unstable Senate. They said Lacson's resignation was a supposed bid to appease his majority colleagues so the presidency of Sotto could be preserved. Lacson is set to be re-elected as Blue Ribbon Committee Chair when Senate resumes its session on November 10. Suspected rocket debris bearing what appears to be Chinese markings was discovered along the shores of Cagayan. Cagayan's Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council says the debris was found along the shores of Barangay Minabel on Camiguin Island. Authorities say a parish priest first spotted the debris around 2 p.m. on Saturday, November 1. While hiking with an altar server to conduct mass in Sitio Bibigsan, the priest noticed the object along the beach. The pair immediately informed local officials who relayed the report to the Camiguin Police Substation and the Philippine Coast Guard, Cagayan. Both agencies later confirmed the sighting. The site was later secured for investigation. The Philippine Space Agency earlier confirmed that China had launched its Long March 7A rocket from the Wenchang Space Launch Site in Hainan at 11:47 a.m. on November 1. The agency warned that debris from the launch might fall within Philippine waters. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.